Larry Smith. I work for CY Farms, Batavia Turf. I've been driving tractor trailer for 22 years now. CDL operator. I deliver sod throughout the state, Pennsylvania. Usual morning we are loading trucks. We're harvesting in fields, loading the trucks. Going to a job site could be multiple stops to one big stop, depending on the job site. Working with a lot of different landscape outfits. It's an average 10-hour day, steady work. My responsibilities will include loading my own truck, tarping, make sure the load is secured with straps. When I get to a job site, I am responsible for unloading the trailer. When possible, placing where landscapers need it to be. Aside from that, I maintain my equipment. We run mainly April into November, and depending on the year, depending on how the winter starts out. After that, we will start maintaining equipment. We will start stripping things down, going through it, making sure we're set for the next season. We do have multiple farms as far as CY and Batavia Turf. We will switch from that point and usually go into hauling onions for the season, grains for the winter, and then switch back over to Batavia Turf, so everything's steady work. We usually run 6 days a week, depending on weather. Seldom is there less than 6 days a week. And they do offer, if you have personal or just something you want to do outside of work, they do let us take a day here and there. Career started out of school thinking I would go to college, become an accountant. Ended up with a friend starting out on a farm, working fields, milking cows, and then we both decided that it just wasn't enough for us, so we wanted our CDLs, and we went and got CDLs and drove over the road for quite a few years, and then we both just kind of went our own way and ended up driving for one farm. I'm driving for another farm, and it's been 22 years in this career, just experiencing a whole lot of different things. I went through a county program, went to driving school for CDLs at EDI. It took a month to go through the whole schooling. It was 5 days of classes for a month. They took us for our CDL license. They started out the program getting us our DOT physicals, our permits, taking us out on the road, training us, and then Buffalo, took us to Buffalo so we could take our on-the-road course and get our license that way. So a lot of farms will pay for CDL training, depending on the farm and what they hire you for. There are still some county available programs that will help you get training. BOCES offers some programs for training. 18 you can get a CDL B. 21 to get a CDL A. There are several different endorsements you could get. You can go with a hazmat endorsement, tanker endorsements, passenger endorsements. Depends on where you want to take your career. So keep that in mind when you're doing training. What do you think you're going to want to do? You actually have to have an endorsement for towing as well. If you thought you wanted to get into a towing degree or start towing trucks. As a CDL driver, time is everything. Being punctual is very important. You're going to have to manage your time very well. Responsible to pretty much show up every day, because that is part of your responsibility. You are federally mandated to keep a logbook, maintain it, and watch your hours. There's a lot of benefits to being a CDL driver. A lot of the companies will offer health insurance, retirement plans, vacation time. Average CDL driver, I think in today's market, is starting out at right around $40,000 a year. And that's depending on where you go, how you start out. Your first year is always your roughest year, trying to figure out exactly where you fit in as a driver. Once you get settled in with a company and you get settled in with a change in career, everything rolls together, and the potential you can make $80,000 to $90,000 a year. As a CDL driver, there's a lot of opportunities out there. There's a lot of different job descriptions out there. There's over-the-road drivers, there's local drivers, there's seasonal drivers. It's going to depend on what benefits you the best. Average over-the-road driver is out on the road for three weeks at a time. You're not going to see your family, you're not going to see girlfriends, wives, children. Local driver is probably more of a requirement as far as a physical aspect. You've got to be a lot more dependable as a local driver. Your pay's going to determine where you're at. You might make better money on the road, but being a local driver, you might have to give up a little bit of pay, but you're home every night, you're home every weekend, for the most part, depending on your job. Farm, on the farm, you're going to be 6 days a week. There's going to be down times where you can get a couple extra days a week out. For the most part, you got to be willing to do the work if you're going to be local. Over the road's only easier because 12 hours out of the day you're sitting behind the wheel. So as a driver, some of the positives, you're very dependent. People expect you to do something, and what I do right now as far as sod driving, when I go to a job site and landscapers see me pull in, they might at first think, oh great, sod's here, but they know when I show up, it's the end of the job. They put the sod down, it's usually the last thing that gets done on a job. So, and the finished product, green grass, happy customers, is probably some of the greatest things and some of the best parts of the job. Getting to travel, getting to see different things. A lot of times it's always something different. As far as my job goes, as far as an over-the-road job goes, you don't see a lot of the same places twice. Probably some of the negatives to a job like this is you have to deal with a lot of people on the road. And if you're a young driver, you might not have figured it out yet, but some people out there are just not the best drivers or have very good patience. Don't understand what you're going through, what your responsibilities are, what your timing is as far as stopping a truck, being able, not understanding the turns as a CDL driver you have to make. Some of the other negatives could be you might end up with a bad dispatcher. If you're working a local job, you might have a terrible salesman that expects more than what's possible. You have to deal with people, which is always a positive and negative, depends on the people you work with. It's a demanding job. It's a very demanding job. It's not easy work. It's steady, not good work.